We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some new updates regarding Braun Strowman, and the rumors that were going around the other day that WWE were wanting to bring back Braun Strowman to the company. Now, according to Dave Meltzer of The Wrestling Observer, there is interest within WWE to have Braun Strowman return, especially with the recent huge rumored AEW signings that we will discuss in greater detail shortly, and that Vince McMahon is reportedly unwilling to let Braun Strowman join AEW as well, as McMahon feels like it was a mistake in the first place to release Braun Strowman, and that the former Universal Champion has way too much potential to be carelessly released and picked up by another wrestling company like AEW that could easily utilize Braun as a top star. And given Braun's significant fan base, WWE feel Braun Strowman joining AEW would be bad news for the company, and that AEW could legitimately rival WWE's ratings if they managed to acquire any more big-name wrestlers. With AEW signing the likes of Aleister Black, Christian Cage, Andrade, among many others, WWE feel like Braun Strowman simply cannot go to AEW without there being negative repercussions for WWE, hence why backstage officials are wanting for Strowman to return. Now let us know if you guys think Braun Strowman should consider returning to WWE, or was this WWE's big mistake that they should pay for, and that Braun should not be willing to return and instead join AEW, where he would likely be booked a lot better compared to his last few months in WWE, and Strowman could be a huge star for All Elite Wrestling. We now have an interesting bit of news regarding John Cena. As most of you are likely aware, John Cena had returned to WWE at the Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event this past weekend, with Cena setting his sights on the head of the table, Roman Reigns, and his Universal Championship. And while most fans are well aware that John Cena is only returning to WWE leading up to SummerSlam 2021 and will not be sticking around for much longer after that pay-per-view, it seemed like John Cena would be wrestling or at least appearing for WWE full-time until the next month or so is over, to help with the company's ticket sales, and even have John Cena appear at some house shows or live events. However, for those of you unaware, WWE had advertised that John Cena was going to be appearing at a live event for August 8, 2021 in Gainesville, Florida, with the show reportedly selling approximately 2,300 tickets. But as of today, it has been revealed that WWE have cancelled this live event, and the reason for this is still unknown. Now, we don't know if this event was purely cancelled because John Cena was unable to appear on the show like it had been advertised, but nonetheless, not a great bit of news for the fans who eagerly bought tickets for the event and were expecting to be seeing John Cena. When this news of the WWE live event with John Cena was cancelled, quite a few fans expressed their frustrations with WWE relying on part-time superstars like John Cena, and that it is a mistake for so many part-time superstars to be getting World Championship opportunities in WWE, with notable examples heading into SummerSlam being Goldberg and John Cena, and that WWE should instead be taking the time to build up some newer stars, and that WWE definitely have the talent to be able to do so, but are just lazy and continue to rely on big-name legends instead to draw ratings and add buzz to Raw and SmackDown. Now let us know if you agree with the fans who feel it is a bit disrespectful to the full-time superstars in WWE that are on the road 365 days a year, that special appearance superstars like John Cena and Goldberg are continuously given the major World Championship matches, or do you simply see this as good business on WWE's part, as the likes of John Cena will help to get more eyes on the product and increase ratings, and that there is still plenty of time to build up some newer superstars, but in the meantime, WWE should continue to get as much as they can out of these legends before they retire for good. Regardless, it seems like a lot of fans are happy and excited for John Cena versus Roman Reigns for SummerSlam 2021, so perhaps the fans who feel otherwise are in the minority here. Let us know. The wrestling world has been going crazy over the past few days, because as most of you are likely aware, it has been rumored that both Daniel Bryan and CM Punk have been in negotiations with AEW All Elite Wrestling to sign with Vince McMahon's and WWE's rival promotion. To give a bit of a backstory, it was first reported that Daniel Bryan was interested in working with AEW after his WWE contract expired in April of 2021, and while it was just a rumor for quite some time, yesterday it was revealed that Daniel Bryan had reportedly signed a contract with AEW, and that even if he hadn't quite signed yet, the deal was close to being done and finalized, and Daniel Bryan was going to become an AEW superstar. Now, the reasons for Daniel Bryan joining AEW is because Daniel wants more creative freedom, not to mention that AEW has a great working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it has been reported after Daniel Bryan's WWE contract expired that Bryan wanted to wrestle in multiple promotions moving forward, something that WWE denied Daniel in contract negotiations, hence why Bryan chose to sign with AEW. However, perhaps more shockingly is the news regarding CM Punk possibly joining AEW, because these rumors definitely came out of nowhere, and it has been rumored that CM Punk was in legitimate contract negotiations with All Elite Wrestling to make a comeback to the ring, after last wrestling for WWE back in 2014. While the rumors were just beginning to heat up that AEW had an interest in not only signing Daniel Bryan, but the cult of personality CM Punk as well, Ringside News has reported as of this morning that CM Punk has officially signed his AEW contract, and that CM Punk is now going to be returning and wrestling for All Elite Wrestling. Now, a lot of fans are a bit skeptical on this report that CM Punk has already signed with AEW, but nonetheless, if it all goes according to plan, both CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have signed with WWE's competition AEW, and not surprisingly, Vince McMahon is absolutely furious and distraught over this news. According to one of our sources, Vince McMahon got wind of the news that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan had signed with AEW earlier this afternoon, and McMahon and other high-ranking officials are absolutely furious and the furthest thing from being pleased. As we had reported in one of our previous videos, Vince McMahon was trying to work out return deals for not only CM Punk, but Daniel Bryan as well, and Vince is furious and very upset that both superstars rejected some very lucrative contract offers to instead jump ship to AEW, something that McMahon wanted to avoid at all costs, given both Daniel Bryan's and CM Punk's immense star power and fan base, because we have been told that Vince is very worried that these two signings for AEW could be disastrous for WWE in terms of the ratings battle between WWE and AEW, and that AEW could actually overtake them in ratings and viewership. One backstage rumor has suggested that Vince has brushed off a lot of the recent AEW signings, including Andrade and Aleister Black, with it stated that Vince does not feel these kinds of former WWE superstars are going to be able to really give AEW that much more exposure, whereas with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, these are two of the biggest names in all of wrestling right now, and that Vince McMahon is furious that both CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, quote, betrayed WWE and joined the competition. We have been informed that Vince is especially angry at CM Punk joining AEW, because as most of you are well aware, there is so much hype for CM Punk's return to wrestling that has been anticipated to happen since 2014, and McMahon fears that an enormous number of fans will be tuning into AEW to see CM Punk return to the ring, and this includes a lot of fans who don't regularly watch AEW, which could dramatically increase All Elite Wrestling's ratings, at least temporarily. Regardless, let us know your thoughts on CM Punk and Daniel Bryan reportedly choosing to sign with AEW over accepting Vince's contract offers and returning to WWE. And do you think that AEW will be able to overtake WWE in ratings when CM Punk and Daniel Bryan officially make their debuts?